pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Trustee Simpson. Present. Trustee Winston.
Here.
Trustee Carville.
Here.
Trustee LeBeer.
Here.
And I'm here. So we'll take the motion to approval of the minutes for January 18, February 15, March 15, 2022, which has been revised, March 23, April 5, and April 12. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee LeBeer, second by Trustee Winston. Any additions, deletions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Treasury report. Kevin's actually, we're a little shorthanded down in the office, and so he's doing payroll. So I excused him from coming up here tonight, but just a few things. You guys can see everything that's in there. One thing that I wanted to mention, because I noticed it in an article one time, a couple of the comments afterwards. So as you can see with the rescue squad, we're actually to the good of $25,219. I almost hate to use the term profit there because it's not really a profit off of taxpayers' money. The public, I hope they understand that all of that revenue doesn't come from, it's not taxpayer funded, all that revenue actually comes from our resource recovery. So when we say we're making a profit, well, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. We're doing a good job. The squad is doing a very good job with their resource recovery, and yeah, so that's a big thing. That comes from charging the insurance if they have insurance. If they don't, they're not charged, and so they've been doing a great job. We appreciate that.
That money,
Yes.
add to that, it rolls back in to pay the rescue squad's bills
Yes.
and all the assets that go
Yep.
to the rescue squad, so.
And you'll see a few of those tonight.
Yes.
So, yes, good. I'm looking through, I know he needs one motion down on number 5. We kind of take a look through there. He did put in the end of the years for you, and I'm sure that will be updated probably over the next couple of meetings as well. Yeah. Add those.
You guys would take it all in one.
Yeah.
Rather than go through every single one of those.
Yep. So he does need a budget amendment transfer for 21-22 for the attached schedules. I need a motion to adopt one at all time altogether. So moved by Trustee Carville, second.
Second.
Second by Trustee Winston. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So down to the committee reports, code enforcement. Francis, Matt, anything?
Nothing new to report, Foreman already.
We're
Busy as ever.
Busy.
Yes.
Yeah, busy. Understood. Economic development. I am meeting with the VDC, with Dan Pease. Sue Beller and I are meeting with Dan on the 29th. We'll have a discussion and I'll report back to you guys. Fire committee. Francis, Matt?
We did not have a meeting this past month, so we'll be meeting this month in a week.
Okay, great. Personnel?
Appointments that will be discussed in our new business.
Okay, good. Police?
Talked to the chief, nothing to report at this time from my end. Things are going,
I had the chance.
Anything you have, or?
Nope. I had the chance, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut either one of you off. I went down last week or the week before, got a full tour, got to meet a lot of the guys, got to see the workload, got to see all the working parts, and trust me, there's a lot of working parts in that station. Then the chief was nice enough to give me a ride along, which was, the amount of work that these guys are doing cannot be understated.
Super, thank you. Rescue squad, Chad, I couldn't go to the meeting, I had the DRI committee.
Well, there'll be some discussion.
Did
There's a
Defibrillator.
proposed or there's an authorization to contract later on
Yeah.
regarding the new ambulance, but, Mr. Hardy, do you want to share anything from the meeting? There,
I just think that the meeting's been going very well. Open up communications with these guys has been great. I want to also thank the DPW. They've been going over on their kind of rainy days and starting to pick up some of the issues at the building maintenance issues. They've been taking care of before. It was, one at a time, banging away at them. So things are pretty good over there right now.
We did get a certificate of appreciation during their banquet. So from what I understand, the banquet went very well.
Yes.
Street committee. Trustee Winston?
Okay, yeah, I'll do street and sewer. So the DPW's been busy sweeping streets, installing camera sewers, finishing brush pickup, which I just wanted to clarify with Superintendent Miller. So in the summer, people should bring their brush to,
Yeah, so I've had quite a few
Just make
people
sure.
call the last few days,
Yeah.
and I told them if at all possible, the gate's open Monday through Friday, 6 in the morning till about 8 at night.
okay.
If they have the means to get it there, if there comes, we get some rainy weather where we can't do other things, and there starts to be piles around, we will go around and pick them
Okay.
up. I mean, it's,
But we can't guarantee the frequency though.
No, and that's what I explained to some of the people this week on the phone. I said, if you put it out there, ma'am, I can't guarantee you when we're gonna get there to pick it up. So if you have the means to get it there.
Because the reason the village started enforcing this policy as it's written, and it's been written this way for years,
Yeah.
was when we removed 2 crew members from the DPW through attrition.
Yeah.
2-3 years ago, we were told the workload in the summer did not permit for it to happen at the interval that's going to be necessary. So just concerned the mixed messaging, so if we could figure out the frequency with, or maybe if there's a scheduled time where we could announce it,
Well,
point it out. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that gentleman's gonna be getting calls saying there's been a pile of limbs 5 feet high, 10 feet long, sitting at the curb for 4 weeks. Are you gonna make them do something? So I love that we can pick them up. I think it's a great service, to do it as much as we can, but I just wanna make sure we get the messaging right on when we're doing it and how often, to just avoid your phone ringing.
So if someone wants to bring it right away, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. to.
The old DPW.
The old
site, yeah.
DPW site, okay, so I can let people know that too. Okay, so continuing on with street, DPW's busy cleaning walks downtown, mowing parks and ball fields, working on issues at the rescue squad facility, mowing and trimming, and pouring new sidewalks and curbs. And then as far as water, they've been flushing valves, doing stakeouts, curb boxes, chlorinating the new lines on North Racket. They dug and repaired a leaking curb box on 131, and they've been removing sidewalks for replacement. So thank you for all your work, everyone at DPW and Water.
Notes? Good. So now is our initial public comment period. Anyone wishing to address the board, please state your name. Speak away. All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Under old business, it's listed as a discussion, but it's not. The village vehicle committee, they're still gathering information, and rather than try and rush it, I just said we'll wait until, and then we'll get their full report next month.
That's a
If
good
that's okay
thing.
with everybody. Okay, so that puts us into new business. The first is an appointment of Rob Sergeson for the water plant operator trainee.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lemire, second by Mr. Cargill. Any discussion? This is an internal transfer. Rob.
Yes.
Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That means we need authorization to canvass for the water department meter reader.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lemire, second by Mr. Simpson. Any discussion?
Marty, did you figure out if there was an active list or not?
There's no active list. But I'll still have to send one to Heather. I have to do a
Yep,
canvas so that she.
yeah, got it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we need the authorization for the Department of Public Works motor equipment operator.
This is an existing vacancy.
There's a vacancy with Nick retiring and Taylor taking Nick's position and Rob moving to, so by the time everything plays out inside, when everybody moves around, we have an opening. And I don't wanna wait until September.
Yep.
You know, if we could get the process moving right now, so that hopefully maybe have somebody on board for the July
Yep.
meeting.
So basically, you're replacing Mr. Sergison
Yeah.
at the DPW.
Wasn't that, this one there?
No. I had a hard time following.
Because Taylor's taking Nick's position, Rob's taking Taylor's position, now we need to fill Rob's previous position.
The flow chart explains
Yes.
it nicely.
So-
Thank you, Administrator Chapman.
Okay, that's it, I got it.
Cliff notes on that. Okay, second.
Moved by trustee Carl, second by trustee Winston. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a proposed resolution for the support and authorized submission of a CFA for wastewater infrastructure and engineering planning grant, the Grass River Sewer Main Planning Grant. Moved by trustee Levere, second. Second by trustee Simpson. Questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Is this, there's some money out there, and if we want anything at all, we have to, ask for it now, apply for it now?
Yes.
That's what, we don't know if we're gonna get anything or not, but it's there,
Right.
and it's, okay, that's, thank you.
This is just to submit the application.
Anything else? It's a proposed resolution, so it's a voice vote, roll call vote. Trustee Simpson?
Aye.
Trustee Winston?
Aye.
Trustee Carvel?
Aye.
Trustee Levere?
Aye.
And I am aye. Next is a proposed resolution to support and authorize submission of the CFA for wastewater treatment plant upgrades, planning grant at the Massena wastewater treatment plant.
So,
Moved by trustee Carvel, second.
Second.
Second by trustee Winston. Questions? Same thing. Okay. Seeing none, trustee Simpson? Aye. Trustee Winston?
Aye.
Trustee Carvel?
aye.
Trustee Levere?
Aye.
And I'm aye. Next, a proposed resolution to declare type 2 action related to municipal infrastructure planning grant pursuant to the seeker.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Carvel, second.
Second.
Second by trustee Levere. Questions? Seeing none, trustee Simpson? Aye. Trustee Winston?
Aye.
Trustee Carvel?
Aye.
Trustee Levere?
Aye.
And I am aye. Next, the discussion, the H3 Designs Explorer Massena branding. Matt, is this up your alley, I think?
Yeah, so I think everyone is aware, H3 Designs, local company right across the street, has been working with the town and village for a few years now, marketing, branding, identity projects, the Explore Massena website, Facebook page. It's really done a phenomenal job, and it's set us up well to capitalize on any future development such as DRI and things in other areas of the town. Their contract is coming up. Their contract is technically with the town, but the village has historically assisted with the funding. So he always shares his contract proposal with us, knowing that we have in the past assisted with it. The contract proposal, it's a 2-year contract, which is what he has done in the past as well. No increase in cost, which in 2022 is almost unheard of. So I just wanted to put this in front of you guys so you had a chance to look over. He does a great job explaining the scope of services, much better than I do at the updates that we shared in this meeting. But I think I personally would be in favor of continuing to commit to the portion that the village has done in the past, simply because he's been a great asset. I mean, even on little things like our DRI, they, together with Furthermore Studio, the pictures that we used in You know, and you see it on our application we submitted, Jason helped, HU Designs design that. You know, just the consistency and the messaging for us to move forward and make an economic plus out of all this, we're gonna need to continue with branding and marketing, so. Just wanted to put that out there. I don't believe the town has done anything with it yet, so it'd be probably premature for us.
Right, and also if I could just add on to that, I met with Jason Hendricks from HC Design. I think he's also gonna be assisting with the Massena.us website and we met to go over a few things, make it user-friendly, update the pictures, so on and so forth, so, they're very active,
Great.
do really good work.
I agree with you. I was involved in some of the early branding with H3, and they're, you know, it's imperative, I think, we need to work with them, especially while we're developing downtown, and they're a great partner to have in all of this.
Yeah, we've even just been, I talk a lot, he designs, so I can't say we. He has even been coming up with concepts for, you know, we put the banners out on the poles Christmas time. Well, I kind of charged him with if we have the funding, what could we do year round? You know, are there seasonal ones, are there something? So as downtown continues to improve and develop, we can do our part for the aesthetics of it, so. He's come up with some really good things that will eventually present to everyone as well.
Okay, good.
And we'll look forward to the resolution hopefully the next month.
Yeah, great.
Next, the authorization to contract with Stryker Medical for the defibrillators. Yes. Aaron, you want to talk to this?
Yes, so the membership came to me a few months ago, looking at replacing the monitors and several CPR devices that they currently have. The monitors have about a 10-year lifespan on them, a lot like a cell phone. You can't upgrade them anymore. The software that we currently have is no longer able to be updated. Warranty no longer exists with this equipment. It's time for us to update this. Brenton's actually here tonight from the rescue squad. He did a great job working with the folks from Stryker to get a really good deal for us on this. As we continue to do more with less people, the nice thing with these, they will be able to communicate with the new tablets that we're working on getting for them currently to be able to make doing charts faster and also make them more complete. So on the billing portion for the insurance side of things can be much more clear on this. It's a 5-year contract right now to make the purchase, and then what we'd like to do is the second 5 years continue on with the warranty that they have on there, so they will be covered for the full 10-year life expectancy of the monitors. Brendan, you have anything else you want to add to that since you're here?
Well, you did a pretty good job. The only problem we have now is we're looking at 6 months for delivery if signed.
You're telling me winter time before we get them.
And the monitors we have now, if one fails, which they're starting to fail in every other agency, we have nothing. So that would actually put a truck out of service. And if it fails, it would fail actively on a patient. And they actually used one this morning, and I believe the police department was involved doing CPR for a while. Thank your guys, Jason. And that device would help drastically with manpower and things like that on scene.
So I would entertain a motion to allow me to sign this contract. It is 0% interest payment plan, which is pretty outstanding.
So,
Moved by trustee Simpson,
Second.
seconded by trustee Winston. Any other questions?
Are we budgeted for this?
Yes, actually, the 200 account, I put a budget item in there. The thing that I'm working with Kevin, it's a behind the scenes thing, is it actually come out of the 200 account, or do we move the 200 account over to 400 account? That's a Kevin thing that I've been working with him on, but since it is a contract, that we need to get permission from the board to move forward with this, so.
Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a proposed resolution authorizing annual agreement with the Greater Massena Chamber of Commerce.
So,
Moved by trustee Levere, second.
Second.
Second by trustee Carl. Any questions? Is the 2,500 that is budgeted? Seeing none, it is a proposed resolution. Trustee Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Winston.
Aye.
Trustee Carvel.
Aye.
Trustee Lemire.
Aye.
And I am aye as well. Thank you. Next up, the open meeting law, discussion about the revisions. Monique? This is about the electronics and such, right?
Yes, the virtual. So with the governor's executive order, soon to be expiring, in order to continue with the virtual participation, there's some new language in the open meetings law, and we would need to adopt a resolution, or a local law, I'm sorry, allowing for that to continue. And there is certain criteria that has to be met, so we would just include that. And I recommend establishing a public hearing date and time in order to do so.
And that's if we need to do a meeting via Zoom,
Yes,
not just to stream it.
right, but if we do stream it, we have to allow everybody to comment, see us.
Even if we're not conducting it via Zoom?
If we're not, but
I mean, I'm all for conducting it via Zoom.
right, I mean, I thought that there had been some discussion about continuing to Zoom things. It makes it easier as well, like when doing the minutes or posting things on the
Oh, sure.
website.
I think streaming's the best thing that ever happened to village
Okay.
government because it allows someone that might not otherwise be here,
Mhm.
I didn't see
Correct.
we're packed.
Correct.
You know, to possibly at least get on there and the more engagement we have, the better off we'll be.
My sentiments,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or if one of us is sick or we need to have votes, yeah. So we'll continue doing it this way as long as we include these things. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, this is
Okay.
to allow
Mhm.
basically,
It only goes to what, next year, 2 more years. It expires in 2024.
the current, I believe it's till July.
July 2024.
July 2024? Oh. Took effect on April 9th, 2022, and will expire to be deemed repealed in July 2024. So we got some time.
Is that referring to what we were doing or referring to this new stuff?
The new stuff, I believe.
Oh, okay, so we do have to do the resolutions.
Yes.
So I need a resolution then to have a public hearing scheduled for next July 19th at, are you at 5:25?
Our meeting begins at 5:30.
Okay. So, yeah, all right, so next public hearing, July 19th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second by trustee Revere, second by trustee Carl. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next up, you all, I gave you a copy of this, the agreement for the sale of an ambulance, and so forth. Aaron, if you want to talk through this.
Okay, I know we discussed this a bit at the last meeting. This is something that's kind of spilled over from the town onto us. The rescue squad had started the process of looking at getting a new ambulance before the village had taken it over. This Gorman company, they did went ahead and established a VIN number for Massena and actually started production of a chassis. Now, with that being said, we have no legal obligation to it. They just know that everything's so backed up right now that if we choose not to go with this, that they can get this off to somebody else in a heartbeat, and we'll just start back over at the beginning again. They were able to, and thanks to Brendan as well, that they did a tag-on contract with another municipality within the state, so it's through the state contract with tag-on. Basically, what that's telling is that the engine, the chassis, the box, everything's the same. It's already been done through the state contract. What they're changing is some of the compartment layout on it to meet our specifications. If we were to go with this agreement, like I said, it's $311,910 to purchase a new ambulance. We're looking to replace a 2008 that has been in and out of the DPW garage and many other garages over the last several years. got one part right now from International that we get it ordered, it's gonna be 3 to 6 months before they can even get this thing again. It's time for us to start looking at rotating out the old and getting the new one.
We're currently paying on one, right?
There's one, yes.
When does that end?
That would have been a Kevin question, I apologize, I could have got that.
Okay. That came out of my conversation with Kevin, so I didn't realize it was a Kevin question. Have you met with Kevin on this?
We've had some discussions regarding this, and like I said, he said, you know, we're gonna have to bond this thing, obviously, so.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for the treasurer, but when I asked a question about how the ambulance budget's gonna look, cash flow, net, positive, negative, things like that, there was some caution there, I'll just say that. I would encourage a more in-depth meeting with Kevin in terms of his projections on where things are headed and what this would do to it and the risk involved. I got the sense that the alternative to be pitched might be not until the one that we're paying on is paid off.
Okay.
But I don't want to speak for him because it was a 5-minute conversation before this meeting. But I know there's some concern there on where you'll find yourself in 12 months and what you'll do to account for that if we end up being in the negative.
Can I ask Aaron, what are the risks and consequences of not replacing this immediately?
Well, it's becoming a money pit for starters. We're spending, like I said, there's been thousands and thousands of dollars spent on this thing
On
last year
parts.
between the town and the village rolling over. It's gotta meet DOT spec, DOH spec. If we're not capable of doing that, obviously it's not safe for patients to be riding in it, so.
It's still currently running?
Right now, it's sitting in the back of the, it's back at the building, because they were working on the steering column, the last thing with the DPW, because it was out of service. Before that was a radio issue, before that, there was a brake issue we got a valve on that, because it's a weird air over electronic braking system on it that's not functioning properly.
Would this
Something-
cause delays in getting to someone's house for an emergency?
Basically, right now it's been dead in the water quite frequently. It comes into service for a week or two, then it's back out of service for several weeks, so that's putting us really at 3 ambulances. If anything happens to even a minor thing, it's setting us right up to have 2 ambulances available to go at that point.
And then what are the risks?
Well, we could delay time or
somewhere.
have to worry about bringing in mutual aid from other departments.
What kind of shape are the other 3 in?
We've got 212, which is in actually really good shape right now. 214 is not in the greatest of shape, but it's better than this current one that we're looking to replace.
This one is what, 14 years old?
Yes.
What's the next? the oldest one?
8, I think we got a 12,
Gentlemen,
is that
look at me.
correct? Go ahead, Brent.
Historically, we used an 8-year rotation schedule, so we're actually 2.5 ambulances behind on purchasing and maintaining. Of what I think Aaron can attest to, and probably even Kevin at this point in time, if he starts to see the bills and talk to the DPW. As that one sits in the 4th in the back, can't be fixed, we're waiting for parts. The other 3 are running, and they're running harder and more than we used to ever do before. Our second oldest ambulance has 40,000 miles more on it than its previous one that we got rid of at that point in time. All 3 ambulances that have been running are at least 30,000 miles over than we ever replaced them before. And this one is actually lower on miles than the other ones because it's been broken for so many years. And it's the oddball, it's the big International. If you guys have seen it around town, it's the one chassis that doesn't really fit. Because we got a deal on it back in 2008 that sat for a year and then we got it then. So we're behind the schedule on 2.5. I think the repair bill on not only that vehicle, but the other 3 ambulances, as they run harder and faster and longer. Normally, all of them are diesel, and the DPW guys can attest to this. They might sit for a day, and then they run out the door at 80 miles an hour, and they brake, hard braking, they go and stop and go and stop. And the oil changes are fast, brakes go through them, the tires, we go through them quite often. And while that one sits and doesn't go in the rotation, the other three are taking the brunt of that. And that's been the case for well over a year and a half now before obviously the village got involved. We were scheduled to replace this in 2016. And so the 211, which is our next oldest ambulance, is a 2012. That was scheduled for 2020 to be replaced. And then 214, which is a 2014, was actually scheduled for 2022. Originally per our old rotation schedule. And we had come up with that number based off of years of the maintenance on them, going if we keep one for 8 years, we go through the maintenance on it at the 8-year mark, if we would start and get a new one in, the cost benefit versus the continued maintenance on them from there, you start to have overhauls with the transmissions, the chassis, things like that. So that's kind of where we're at this point in time.
And the enterprise deal doesn't include any of these?
No, they don't have ambulances. There are some companies, I am starting to do some research on figuring out a way to maybe at some point lease these things, get some type of a rotation, but I'm very mature in my learning how that all works and making sure what they have fits the needs of our department as well, so.
If we can financially swing it,
Yeah.
that's great. I'm just pitching, sit down in depth with the treasurer, have him do projections, because this isn't like a village department. If they don't have the funds in 5 months with these newly added expenses, because revenue doesn't end up or resource recovery is not where we thought it would be, you got a significant issue on your hands. And we don't have the backup resources that the town had yet, because we're in year 1. So that's my only concern of, we told the taxpayers that they will never be paying for this, that it'll pay for itself. It sounds like from the treasurer that a conversation is at least needed to flush things out. It may end up being greenlit and, you know, all worry for nothing, but he definitely said a few things that.
Can we wait until, can we talk with them next month and then revisit this next month? Is that?
You certainly can. This is all on you guys. July 8th, there is a price increase. This ambulance spec has not changed for 7 months, 8 months. I had a previous one before. 8 months ago, this exact piece of paper you're looking at was $276,000, $884.34.
So
That
we
is
would
all
need a
price
bonding
increases.
resolution
Yes.
to move forward anyways.
Yes, so there's nothing we can do.
All right, so here's the plan then. Let's, we'll sit down with Kevin, make sure that, you know, fund-wise, we're going to be fine in order to cover these payments. Then we'll have a bonding resolution prepared for the July meeting, and we go forward from there. And if it's gonna bump it up, it's gonna bump it up, but we need to make sure that we're financially stable to do this.
How much is it gonna go up to, you know?
So Gorman is a dealer for a company, Lifeline, the ambulance that we have, and it matches the other ones that we have. There's no, it's all based off the price